excuse me, organizers. I think we are supposed to have a 10 minutes break after the session, for the first session. And are you guys, is any of you expecting to have this 10 minutes break? Or otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start. Oh, gosh. Okay. Then, okay. Can you look at it? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Hi, my name is Daniel Lee. I am a startup incubator at Kotra. Kotra stands for the Korean governmental agency for the overseas trade and investment promotion, and they launched their own the national level startup incubator last year May, and that since then I've been in charge. I happen to be in charge of this operation. Meantime, I had plenty of a chance to actually get engaged, make my own engagement and involved with IoT incubation, because currently I'm running 40 teams actually, and closely connected with more than 300 of Korean startups. A substantial part of these people are involving in IoT. So that really led me to the career and the idea of, as to how to promote these IoT stuffs, because it's not about the Korean or Asian stuffs alone. Now it's a leading part of a global innovation. So
can you put it in presentation mode?
Oh,
Thanks.
sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. So and then now I'm a U.S. part of advisor. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, U.S. part advisor of Actinol Lab 9. How?
You need to click the little button right before the 75%.
Okay. Oh, that one. Yeah, sorry. This one. Okay. The full screen. Yes, sorry. Yeah, thank you so much for helping. You helped me a lot, because even I had the difficulty to read these small letters, which I don't memorize completely. So, and also, actually, Actinol Lab is a very promising new Korean incubator in contrary to the Korean government. And they executed a memorable understanding MOU with the famous Flextronics in Silicon Valley. And so now these people are part of the major player in the Korean IoT incubation. And also I'm a co-organizer of a meetup entitled meetup for the emerging wearable and IoT technology. So, and today I just want to start from the constraint. IoT is a huge issue, and the monetization of IoT, we gotta cover. I'm supposed to cover this all different kind of full variety of the issue, a laundry list. So I want to start with a constraint. Since I'm an incubator, my perspective will be narrowed down to reduce to the incubation perspective, and also I'm going to focus on the startups. Because IoT monetization from the big enterprise, if you are talking about the Qualcomm, Oracle, or even Google, it's going to be substantially different, far much different in terms of the IoT monetization. What I'm trying to focus is, so my focus will be narrowed down to the startup position and the incubator perspective, also generally applicable devices and solutions, because IoT is covering all different kind of things. Now you look at this overview. It shows the ideal and the coverage of the IoT. I just picked up this one from Google because I like the infographic, Levelium Smart World. The smart world is the ideal of the IoT, because IoT stands for what? Internet of the things. Some people call it Internet of everything, right? So we are trying to make everything smart, and to build up the smart world. The smart world will say, you can see the smart, or the nuclear power plant, which is going to become smarter. So we are not going to see the Fukushima tragedy again, never. And also, you see these cars and amusement park. You can take your kids to the amusement park, which can give you the smart service, connected, where you don't have to worry about, you are missing your child. So that's the IoT world. Then now, let me start from the potential of the market. The potential of the market is, you must have seen this one so many times, because this is so famous things, Gartner's hype curves. Now, when you look at these green lines, green overall, you see the Internet of the Things in the upward slope. It's between you see that down below it's gonna show you the innovation trigger. Meaning now they are under the media highlight, and media hype began already. It has begun. So and then it's a little more. If we go a little more, then there will be a supplier proliferation, and then it's gonna go to the peak, and then it's gonna go down slope, and then it's gonna be revived again. When it goes the downslope, then means what media highlight is people become disappointed because this technology. They got excited to see they usually become excited when they see the new technology, and after substantial time, period of time, they feel like, is this even technologically and commercially feasible? And there is like a skepticism in the market, and that's why it goes down, and it's gonna revive slowly to reach it to the plateau, which is at that point of time is going to become the standard technology of the mainstream of the industry. So and then the entire point of this Gartner hype is IoT is now what is getting hot. So I want you to remember this one. And then IoT market size and shares, I've come up just with these curves and bars and pie chart, only to show you some figure and idea where, from which you could get some gist of idea where to make a monetization from. So, look at this first curve. This one, okay, you cannot see it. All right. For the first curve on your left side, the upper left side, your IoT market of internet connected devices. It shows which one is. Look at this pie chart. The curve carefully and try to find which part is has the largest potential. And then you're gonna see the pie chart right next to M2M, commercial and consumer M2M. The first curve and bar. First is the bar and curve. It shows commercial and industrial area of the M2M has the largest potential. And which part of this commercial and individual devices is going to give you the money? That is presented in the next pie. Show like utility is the first, then you're going to get the security, and then the automotive and transportation. So, and also, there is a national potential to this IoT business. So it doesn't mean if you don't belong to the nation of the target, that you don't have business chance or something. It means where you could find your strong international allies. So look at this one. The first, North America in the United States. Of course, we are the leading figure. And then you're gonna see the Asian people. The next is Asian. And then next is Western Europeans. Then you're gonna see the Asian people too. So United States, Western Europe, and Asia, East Asia, like including Korea, China, and Japan. These are the leading figures. And the last one is the numbers of the M2M devices. And since this is a recurring theme, you're gonna see it again. And I'll give you some little more information. My previous presenter even come up with the same picture, with the slide modification. So it's like widely circulated things. The entire point is now you have this market, size and chances. Sorry for the typo. And I have 5 tips. Michael, could you give me like a 10 minutes notice or something? There's no way for me to figure out the time, so thank you. And there is a brief, quick overview of the 5 tips for the IoT monetization, which is your main issue. You see this number figure, 26 billion and 300 billion things and 1.9 trillion. It looks fancy figure. It's like wonderful. And there are 5 tips for very simple to make your monetizing your Internet of Things business. Number 1, you have to make a simple business. IoT inherently is related to the very complicated business model, as I will show you and present you by my value chain analysis. So make it simple, just make it look obvious to everybody, then that's going to call the attention from the investor and the customers. And also make a differentiation, differentiate, put the value, additional value, because when I do see these startups come up with IoT, they're like popular area of the business. Thermostat, like what? Also sensor of your soul, just detecting your temperature and diagnosis your like a health condition or something like that. It's all connected with health devices. Or otherwise like a camera optimization, kind of imaging sensor. They come up with all intertwined and connected. And if you come up with the real innovative things, I mean, even among them, then you are giving the differentiation, and you'll call for the attention, and people will pay the attention to your business, and also try to drive revenue. IoT people, they know, IoT is involved with what? Devices, which need mass production eventually, and even making a prototype need money. Requires a substantial amount of initial investment. That's why people get frustrated, and they want to get the investments first. But even before then, try to make a revenue. Build up the business model, whether you make actual money or not, that could produce a genuine revenue. That will actually, that's gonna attract the investors' attention. And then grow market. It's all related to the revenue stream, and protect your IP. That's very important. People come to me and ask me how to get the investments. I demand them two things. Number one, prototype, reliable and obvious prototype that could call the attention from the investors. And number two, protect your IP. Now your investors are looking at your business by what? Intangible asset. Usually for the mobile developer, they don't look at it because, it's a lean startup, people, lean startup. You can develop this mobile software like 4 people, 2 weeks, or sometimes 8 weeks. But IoT is a little different because there are so many intertwined, interlocutory, and things to be combined. So, and I'm going to show you it by the value chain analysis. Now, IoT opportunity suddenly came. Why? Because there are some reason. Industry 4.0 that enabled us to get connected our old analog world to the connected world. So, smartphone users expanded. People use this, smartphone. Smartphone is, I think, the prototype of the IoT. It's like a caveman of the IoT world, right? So it's a handheld computer, or I would call it a smart box, with which, I could do almost everything. And device tech become improved, and, I think we have far much better device and technology than like even a decade ago. And then the networking and connection became so much stronger and faster with lower cost. And then aspiration of the new market. See, the mobile market has been so much saturated, and people are looking for some new messiah to come to appear and advent to save the people and market. That's why IoT is, people are, putting their attention, and they're carefully looking at the IoT market, and they have strong desire and wishes to develop the market, startups, businessmen, and investors, and even customers. And function and benefit of the IoT. IoT provides you a specific function, and this function and benefit is the area you might want to look for and actually enhance the value of your business. Monitoring, and information, payment, and tracking, and control. These things are the feature of the smartness, which your IoT could provide with your customers and future, even society and community. So look at this small, like the utility, capacity utilization and capacity planning. I just want you to get the gist of the small box descriptions, and that's going to test us detail the specified features and functions which we expect from the IoT for the benefit. And IoT create a new business model even. Unlike a traditional industry, it gives us a new business model, real-time information and diversification of the revenue stream, because it's combined service between the devices and other networking and even software part. So it's like a human being, what are you going to call to the human being? Smart thing, actually, smart creature. We are the smart creature. We have hardware part, although my hardware is subject to ordinary wear and tear. I'm losing my hair, so, And also we have soul, we have mind, and we have functional bodies. It's like IoT is saying. It has its own skeletons, it has its own spines, it has its own hardware part. Also, it has its brain and intelligence, and it probably is a soul and spirit, like, developers probably as ideology or philosophy might be well reflected in this new business. So it's creating the new business model, and the direction of the new business is up to you. I mean, how are you going to drive this IoT? Are you going to make it a cheaper, like a goods in the traditional market or something? Or are you going to make it like a very, very smart, far much advanced than the analogous type of hardware thing? So that is all up to you. And IoT business model matrix is here. Look at this one. Value proposition. This is for the startup who's interested in the IoT, creating his own IoT business. Like any other business, what are you going to do? I mean, what kind of business are you planning to make? Value proposition. There should be a value proposition. What kind of thing? So what is at the center? The sensor? Is it a sensor? Or are you making these shoes? Or my hat? Probably here is my imagination. Somebody might be able to develop this kind of red baseball hat with a nano spray inside, which is IoT, and also sensor could detect the numbers of my hair, and if there is a necessary demand, it could spray automatically the nano, some sort of biotech nano onto my like head, and so then my dead hairs could be revived, and I could have attract even more my wife, right? So she's now, who now is kicking me when I come closer, right? So that's my IoT business model, and here is the thing. So what am I going to make? And what kind of value am I going to propose? And then how am I going to make revenue? This is very important. And how am I going to play in the value chain? IoT is a complicated business, and no one single player, no Superman will lead the Justice League. You need your Batman and Wonder Woman to make it happen. So, and then there is a universe, right? Marvel universe, or DC Comics universe. The universe is, I summarize this business universe into the four known premise, with a little, I heard this one from many people, and I just summarized it. It's not my own opinion. It reflects some degree of my opinion. Number one, cost efficiency can keep the short-term business, will make the short-term business. If you develop something in IoT, that will help the people for the cost efficiency. It's going to last a short term, and it's going to give you the money. Number two, innovative tech will last long term. Innovative tech is like something like brand new, but it's like a black sheep or black swan. And this one will last longer, and it's going to last at least more than around 10 years. And you could get access with like $1 billion, right? And number three, device technology and device business is gonna take a small share. I mean, unlike most of the other people think, devising part is relatively small, comparing to what? Comparing to the data manipulation. So data company, IoT, the entire point of the IoT business rests upon the data manipulation. We need data. It's not just about the connection. We need data to change the behavioral pattern of the people and to change the social, even thinking pattern of the people. Why we cannot predict the future? Because everybody is moving. If you could predict or forecast how people is going to move by tracking their data, biological data, social data, and and cultural data, then you could come closer to the more accuracy of forecast. So forecasting the market is gonna get advanced. Forecasting the social trend is gonna get advanced, and that's the merit of the IoT development. And you should certainly think about these things for your monetization. Business model ontology. This is a classic thing. I'll skip it because we. So, what kind of merit? I've been talking about the benefit and the chances about IoT, and this kind of benefit and chances, it just doesn't come by itself alone. It's it's like it's not like one single man living in the closed lab or something. We are living in an open society where everybody is helping each other or competing each other and making an interaction with each other in business and life. So look at this one, the Internet of the Things landscape. I picked it up from the Google, and he really made nice things. And I appreciate the Matt talk, and who really originally made this. You take a look at it, you see this logo, and the companies who has this printed logo here, they are the key players. Platform and enablements, and somebody is working for like this application, and the company might be, every company you might be familiar with. And I want you to at least, if you are the startup or incubator relating to the IoT business, I want you to get close connection with area of the business now presented in the logo. And the IoT value chain analysis, one of my friends actually gave me the deep criticism, saying he doesn't like it. I asked him why. He said, your presentation is based upon the mobile business model. And I said, hey, right. But IoT doesn't, it's not been built by itself alone on single day. It's an evolved form of like what? All these things, like a ubiquitous 10 years ago, and now the mobile, mobile app things. Yeah. So, this is value chain analysis. I made a little variation. So basically, chip vendor, module vendor, and app and middleware vendors, and service provider, and MNOS aggregators, and SI system integrators. These people will share the, value chain, share of the value under the below percentage. And so where you could find the most value, the service enablers. These people will take largest share. And as I told you, the devising is very, very, very important, but the money amount or share will be a little less than you expect. But think about it. This is a brand new part of this mobile business. I mean, if we call it a mobile business or mobilely analogous business, then the devising part is brand new. So that's the, we also have two devices. In most cases, it's going to come up with two devices. Now, you have this baby watching small box. You want to place in home so that you're 4 years old or 3 years old. If nanny is abusing him or something, or what happened is heartbeat and like this, brain wave or even a blood pressure, you could check it by what? Your iPhone. So we need two devices basically. So an IoT value chain, analysis by whom, look at carefully who are the key players here, and I want you to be familiar with these people's logo and have some connection with these people. Devising part. Why I put this part especially because now as an incubator, I'm going to lots of meetups and conferences, and what I hear is something like the ghost part, ghost story. We are talking about the big data, SNS, how to integrate these things to cloud, how to integrate these things with IoT. But IoT need hardware parts, like a human being. As I told you, it should come up with some solid hardware part, and which is device part. So now look at this device part ecosystem, and I want you to remember Dragon and also Flextronics, because they will eventually help you to make a. Oh, it's okay. Time's up. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So yes, now just give me 2 minutes. IoT marketing model. Look at this. Marketing. You have same. The circles here, and the only different feature of the IoT marketing is it can be all. IoT is connecting everything together, and IoT business marketing can be connected in any kind of chances. So you can go directly to the clients. You can go to the Indiegogo, or you can come to other business, like a bigger business, and you can mash up with somebody else. And I'll skip it. And monetization, monetize your IoT business. First you have to set the rate and handle it, establish the business, data usage, pack and gather the data, intelligence from all data, and analyze these things, and basically actually automation will be lead you there. And capitalization, I can skip it, and problem and solution, IoT still has a problem, shorter battery life. This part you have to focus on developing your devices and companies. It has shorter battery life, and you could improve it by focusing on the distinctive service or narrow use, or probably the superior model or devising to the analog or analog type, or the older version. Or high price part can be actually overcome by the attractive design. And user interfaces like voice and action activation. Voice action activation technology is a little short now because it's not completely proven yet, and people are reporting lots of errors. So smartphone domain, and you can do the minimized data entry and operation integrated smartphone. I want you to take a look at it. And the challenge is, organizational challenge means IoT business has a little different organization than like a mobile business or a traditional business. Like be creative. Somebody called it have some creative confidence because this is a new emerging area of the business. So I want you to just briefly take it over. And this is the most important part for the incubator and the startups. Look at the startup. You start from the startup. IoT startups to be successful, you should have teams and idea, plan and MVP, minimum viable product. And IP issue. IP must be secured, and then you have to have a legal entity. I mean, your incubator could help it. And sensor, if you are developing a sensor, or you may develop a sensor or gadget or any kind of chipset, and then you're gonna go to the incubator. Look at this light blue, and the incubator will mash up those several startups by as the necessity arise, or by business appropriate, proper business arrangement. So they're gonna provide you a seed and angel, and do the modulation part, and device. It will help a little about the devising, or develop a complete MVP or business modeling, thorough business modeling. And some incubator could probably help you to make a prototype. And when you are dealing with a VC, you need a prototype. I have several VCs. When you come up with a prototype, then they are instantly ready to actually make some serious review for the investment. So, VC will give you a value addition, as that will cover Series A to C, and they will mash up and make it to turn your prototype into the commercial version, and all different kind of laundry list I received. I showed you, and then you can go to the orange CVC and CIC. If you have angel investment and VC, then you can directly go to CVC, Corporate Venture Capital or Corporate Innovation Center. And they're going to do the value add and M&A, and eventually you're going to see the down bottom line. So IPO or revenue or post M&A things. So that's it. And look at this IoT enterprise and partners or leaders. I want you to be familiar with these companies, and you will eventually, if you're running the IoT business, you will get connected with these people. Thank you.